One man got accused of killing the town. I don't know if he did or not, but he got mad and he said he was going to kill it and it died, so he kind of got credit for it, whether he done it or not, and that was J. Gould, the railroad man. He was taking people's land away from them, put his railroads on whether they wanted it to or not. And he wasn't just taking the right away, he was taking their whole place away from them. And then we had a governor took office, Governor Culberson, went against J. Gould and took over 2 million acres of land back away from him and give it back to the people he had took it away from. Well, it made Governor Culberson a hero, but it made J. Gould mad. J. Gould was staying at the Charter House Hotel up here. He checked out of the hotel, left a note in his room. He said, "I'll kill Jefferson, Texas. Grass will grow in your streets and bats within any building." And it wasn't long after that, the dynamited log jams out of the river and changed the channel and placed it and fixed it so boats couldn't get up here, and they wouldn't let Jefferson and nobody bring it back. And then he wouldn't let them bring railroads in there either, then, so they think J. Gould had a hand in killing Jefferson. In 1878, Jefferson had 40,000 population. It was a large city. It had a lot of saloons and honky-tonks, a lot of outlaws. It was common to have shootouts out in these streets. People's doors and windows was all the time being shot out, and they're having to replace them, and they got tired of it, and had orange shutters made for the doors and windows, and when they'd hear there's going to be a shootout, they'd run shutters. Last summer, I had one of J. Gould's great nephews come up here and talk to school with me. Said he'd been wanting to come to Jefferson for a long time, but he was nearly afraid to, afraid we'd throw rocks at him. He was an inheritance into the Gould estate. He said it was a known fact in the Gould family that his Uncle J. Gould did get in with the Corps of Engineers, paid him an enormous sum of money to get him to dynamite the dams out of the river and kill Jefferson. Said he wasn't proud of it, but his uncle actually did do that.
Can you explain why that log jam made Jefferson a water port?
Well, the log jams, the main log jam was down close to where the Red River dumped into the Mississippi River. And they could come on up the Mississippi River up past that first big main log jam. And there was a channel they could get back in Red River, and then they could work their way around the other log jam, come right on up in here with those large paddle wheel steamships. And they imported it out here. It was the second largest export-import station in the South. It was the largest inland export-import station. It was second to Galveston, and Galveston down on the coast. And it just got worldwide noted and popular, but because it was so far inland they could come by ship. Also, this was Caddo Indian country, and Caddo Indians were real friendly Indians, and they didn't give the pilgrims any problem coming in here, and so that got noted too, and that was another thing made it so famous and popular, because they could come here without fear from the Indians. And by it being so far inland and not having to fear the Indians either, well, it just got real popular because it was so far inland and they didn't have to fear the Indians coming here. And it's one of 5 of the oldest towns in Texas. Nacogdoches is famous to be the first. For a long time, Galveston was the only town larger than Jefferson. And if it hadn't died or got killed, it might even be the biggest city in Texas today. That one man got accused of killing. I don't know if he did or not, but it points like he did. Everything kind of points up like he probably had a hand in killing it anyway. And it's coming back. There's a lot of tourists here. We have hundreds of thousands of tourists a year coming through here. It's a yearly thing. It's not just a seasonal. We have a lot of tours, winter, summer, and all coming through here. We have about 5 big attractions a year here. In February, we have our Mardi Gras, the last few days in February. And first week in May, we have our pilgrimage. And then in October, we have our Founders Weekend. Then in December, the first week in December, we have candlelight tours. And the town decorates all out, and some of the homes and churches open up that's never opened before then, and we tour at night by candlelight, and it is beautiful.
Charlie, I want to thank you so much. That's a history lesson that takes 2 or 3 semesters to get in school.
It does. It's a lot of people come here, a lot of history classes come here, because what makes it neat, you're not just studying it in a book, you're seeing it firsthand where it happened. And that kind of sticks with a person's mind better than just reading it in a book. When you see where history happened, well, then you can remember it better.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Well, I'm just proud I could do it, and I'd like for anybody that wants to come here. I go 7 days a week, the year round. I got my trolley fixed, closed in where I can go rain, shine, sleet, or snow.
I'd recommend it to anyone. This is J. Gould's private railway car. We walked through it yesterday. It's quite an experience. It has room for servants and, of course, a kitchen and an office room. If he carried the doctor with him at all times, he has a room there for his medicines and so forth. And then he has a parlor and bedrooms and sitting rooms and a little old building was built in 1865, and the mural on the wall really depicts the old stern wheel, paddle wheel ships that came in and picked up the cotton bales. But we were told yesterday by one tour guide that each trip, each way from New Orleans to Jefferson netted the steamship operator $20,000, which of course in today. For what it's worth, this is what I-30 looks like between Texarkana and Little Rock. We decided rather than to stop in Little Rock, which was so close to Jefferson, that we would go on to Hot Springs. We'll be turning off up here in a few miles off of I-30 to go to Hot Springs, and we might spend a few days. Well, this is our camping spot in Hot Springs, Arkansas. A real nice place, but Hot Springs is not all we'd hoped it would be. We'll show you some pictures on the way through town. We're leaving now for Branson, Missouri. We were camped actually 10 miles from downtown Hot Springs, Arkansas, the old part of town where all the hot baths were taken, and Al Capone and everybody else came here in fountains of youth. It's prettier out here on this side of town, which is about maybe 6 miles from downtown. It's around Lake Hamilton. Beautiful homes and condos and things along this lake. The same lake, about half a mile further on than the last picture. We signed up for a lake tour, which includes a nice dinner for last night, but it was raining so hard we gave it up. Actually, I think it began to clear up just about time the boat was to leave. That's a famous old hotel, the name of which we can't recall. Better if you don't have your elbows on your knees and steady as a rain day. Well, these are the old bathhouses, many of which are closed now. They're beautiful. Magnolia trees are all in bloom, of course. Grandiose, Arlington Mall, which is building up, made into a shopping center, I guess. Arlington Hotel Mall. Old downtown Hot Springs. About 7 miles from where we took our previous pictures crossing the lake. Finally out of the rain. It's 2:15 in the afternoon. We were in about 2 hours of rain, and we're in Harrison, Arkansas now, a large town we just passed through, and we're about to cross into Missouri. They call West Branson. We haven't gone into town yet. We're driving out to an RV place, and we've already encountered traffic jam, and we're on the opposite side of the highway from the main part of Branson. country Las Vegas here. We're in Branson now. We're leaving Branson.